So, in September of 2019, Carol and I did a bicycle tour in the Puglia region of Italy. We began in the city of Bari and headed southeast along the Adriatic Sea, which is just gorgeous. And the weather gods were with us because we had 7 days of near total sun. Puglia is known for its olive trees, commercial fishing, ancient cities, and colorful history, and as a great place to ride bicycles. We did a quick stop in the city of Polignano a Mare, a beautiful little place that really deserves a much longer visit. It's where we had our first experience with residents who come out in droves in the evening. It's also where we learned that gelato is required food for cycling. It was starting to get late, so we continued to our destination, the city of Monopoli. Monopoli, like a lot of the old cities, is a walled city. The walls were built to repel invaders, and sometimes they worked and sometimes they didn't. In each city we spent most of our time in the old section, or Centro Storico, where the streets are winding and narrow, and where it's easy to get lost. And, as if on cue, the residents and tourists flood the streets in the evening. It's really fun. We weren't sure what to make of this imagery on this cathedral door. But nearby there was another beautiful cathedral, and as we stood outside we noticed something was happening and decided to hang around, and were happy to have had some small part in the celebration. The environment of Puglia has been transformed over hundreds of years to grow olive trees. The beautiful groves go on for mile after mile along empty, narrow, and often dusty roads. The roads this day were all uphill, and whew! It was hot. The city of Alberobello is a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of the unique structures known as trullis. There are competing theories about why the conical shape was developed, but no matter the reason, it's a fantastical place today, with well over 1,000 trulli to wander through. Loco Rotondo is so stunningly gorgeous, the words can't describe it. So we'll just let the pictures speak for themselves. We continued on past more trulli, past olive trees, over some unplanned gravel, the map said asphalt, and to our next destination, the city of Ostuni. Puglia has been conquered by the Ostrogoths, Ottomans, Normans, and others. Did they ever win a war? And their influences are still present, but it's believed that the Greeks introduced the whitewashed buildings. This style extended to the small, cozy space we stayed in as well. It's one of our best memories. While much of Ostuni has been transformed to attract tourists, regular neighborhoods with regular people aren't far away. Most towns in the region have a cathedral in the center of the old city, and usually at the highest point, and Ostuni is no exception. Most people get around the old city by foot, on bicycle, or a scooter, but these three-wheeled trucks are popular. If Carol could have found a way, I think she would have brought one home. We were there on a Wednesday, and yet there was plenty of nightlife, including these young soccer players in the large central plaza. With morning, it was time to move on. We took a train which accommodates cyclists to the city of Lecce, which is often called the Florence of the South due to its impressive architecture. It also has many Roman ruins, including this amphitheater. We had a long ride the next day, so we left Lecce early and made our way back to the coast. We pedaled fast to reach Otranto ahead of a storm and took refuge in the castle. The rain subsided and we checked into our Airbnb and discovered this view from our balcony. The main cathedral has a mosaic created in the 1100s which depicts both pagan and Christian images. Even more remarkable, if somewhat ghoulish, are the remains of over 800 martyrs who refused to renounce their religion before the invading Ottoman Turks. The castle sometimes serves as a gallery for traveling art exhibits, and the one we attended was excellent. Morning in Otranto. And it's on the road again. The lengths of our rides were determined by the distance between the towns that we visited. On this day, we rode about 35 miles, although it was hilly. And the coast was gorgeous. Santa Maria de Luca is at the southernmost point of Puglia. The tall white lighthouse dominates the coastline and marks the point where the Adriatic and Ionian seas meet. We headed northwest toward Gallipoli. The ride was beautiful, flat, and thankfully there was a tailwind. Gallipoli means beautiful city, and it certainly is. We had passed many beautiful beaches while riding, but now we had one right outside our door, and we took advantage. The old city of Gallipoli is actually an island which we reach by riding across a bridge. Like the other cities in Puglia, Gallipoli is a great mix of the ancient and the modern. We were sorry to have to say goodbye to the last city on our route. We picked up provisions at a farmer's market and headed out on our final ride. There were no grand cathedrals on this stretch of old and lonely road, just a hard-scrabble little church. And soon we were at the train station in Lecce for the return to Bari, and ending a marvelous excursion of an enchanting place. We do hope to make it back.